Welcome back to Wichita's Biz That Is, and our guest today, Carol Scaff. We're having a very interesting time talking about marketing and all the things. What is you talked about some of the change in the industry of, previously at one time a lot of print focus and now more. Anything else changed? It may not be the media content, but other things.
Well, I think that it is changing so rapidly, and the digital media has really come to the forefront, which is why people have to have such a robust web presence these days. But I think that we've got this 24-hour news cycle, and people on network TV and broadcast TV, they have to be quick about delivering information to their audiences, and it has created a difficult time for public relations, I think, because there's less available time to vet news stories, to in the newsroom, the TV stations, and then people at those stations, those reporters, have less and less time to actually gather the news. They're delivering.
You don't have the old City Hall reporter who
Correct.
Spent their time there all.
Exactly. You used to have a healthcare reporter, technology reporter, banking reporter. Now, Lily Wu at KWCH has to know about education. She has to go out and cover.
She's a smart girl, by the way.
She is a smart girl.
girl.
I'm kind of a fan of hers. And but she has to ramp up on many different topics, as do all of those reporters out there. They can't just, learn one industry. They've got to be able to be fast on their feet.
And frankly, as a business, sometimes it's a little hard when you get people in and they don't know anything.
Yeah.
And you can't be insulting, but it's, that's sort of not really the question, is it?
Right. Well,
how do I get this without sounding like I'm throwing it back in their face, get it to where it should be?
That's one of the difficulties that clients have, and one of the things we do when we're training somebody for speaking to the media is that you have to be on point with your story. You have to take control of that interview. I mean, you want to allow the interviewer to direct you, but you want it to be a
just
success
like a politician. Get the message.
It's very true. Get your message out. So it's that's one of the difficulties, I think, with the changing forces in our industry is the 24-hour news cycle has driven information to the point where everybody has to. You have to be on point with your message and your story at all times.
I want to get away a little bit from the content of your business and just talk about business side. As you went into business, what did you find the difficult things? What was hard, and what did you have to really work at?
I think that, and this is something I think all business owners would tell you, is growing from a very small shop to not quite so small, but one of the things that frustrates me is all of the administrative work I have to do. I love what I do. I love working with clients. I love creating brands and growing awareness, heightening awareness for those clients. But I have to build a website, and I have to buy billing software so that our billing and invoicing will be transparent and documented. And I have to hire people and review them and give them leadership and direction. And I also need to be involved in the community, in the business community, and in the,
And you are.
Charitable. Yes. And this is one reason I appreciated the invitation to serve on the WEBA board. Is I thought this gives me an opportunity to kind of give back a little bit, participate in the process. So that's one thing that I think is difficult, and almost any business owner will tell you they would just love to just be, left alone to just do work for their customers, and you can't do that. You have so much infrastructure that you have to create and keep moving in order to keep your business healthy and vital.
that's, I think, what I hear more from small business people than anything else. Some of them have a lot of issues with government. I'm not sure in marketing, does that come into play much?
Well, it does, and I probably should know so much more about that than I do. I know that a couple of my competitors take a look at that. In my industry, we have to, keep tabs on what sales tax must be charged on. That's a little difficult getting on,
Oh, it's complicated as heck. I mean, in this state, you've got hundreds of different rates because of county, city, and maybe special taxes.
And then, in our industry, you do charge for tangible things like photographs, but you don't charge necessarily for digital photography.
Sales tax we're talking.
Yeah, sales tax. So, that's maybe one issue that is challenging. But with government, for the most part, I think for me, it's more paying attention to how much support is government offering to small businesses, and how much are you burdening them with, more regulations and
as a matter of fact,
rules to
there's
meet.
studies that show that small business hiring suppressed about 7% over the last few years, and it's largely regulatory things.
Well, sure, because I know in the we specialize in banking, and I know that some of our financial customers have had a very difficult regulatory environment in the last 5 years, and they've had to staff up. That costs them a lot of money.
Well, I've had ones tell me, $8 million just added cost.
Oh, sure.
To produce nothing.
It
does nothing for the consumer, nothing for them.
Just so you can report back to the regulatory authorities.
We've only got a few seconds, but I wanted to ask you, if somebody's was thinking about going in the business, what would be your advice to them? Any advice you want to give?
My advice is to make sure that you love language, you love communication, you love language, and you're somewhat of a purist. Because even though if you love people, that's great, but boy, you better love crafting that message, because the message and the brand, that's what people ride, and so you better love that. Otherwise,
it's a perfect
be
ending.
Frustrating.
Wind on message and language.
Exactly.
Thank you very much, Carol.
Thank you, Tim.
That's it for this edition of Wichita's Biz That Is.